Welcome to Africa in Harlem, live from the village of Harlem, Issa. We are very honored to have with us today François Nzi, who is the founder and executive director of New York Math Academy, a nonprofit organization based here in Harlem and helping underprivileged students build confidence and achieve academic excellence. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. What are we going to do, Francois?
Okay, thank you again. No, it's really frustrating sometimes with some parents. I mean, you see what's going on there, as we recording this show, and this is happening in every home. I mean, 90% of a home. Now that students don't have school, parents are mostly working home for the lucky ones that still have some job to do. They are working home, and we had to deal with the scheduling with the student. Maybe most of the parents are now like teachers, right? And they are not trained for this. So we are put on the spot to do this type of job, work with our students. So it's a very challenging moment for all of us. I'm the founder of New York Math Academy and Coaching Services. What we provide is academic support for the students during the school year. With COVID-19, every large gathering organization had to close. So we are all doing remote learning. For parents that are not trained for this and do not have a structure for this, is very challenging. And today I hope that we will give some advice for parents to be able to navigate this moment now that school is closed for good till September. So it's going to be a very long time, but we had to find a way to navigate this moment.
I'm not liking my new home teacher position.
Right.
And I'm sure that there are many parents who are not liking it, but they do not have a choice. What advice can you give to people talking about not liking my my position? Baba, what are you doing right now?
So the advice that I'm
Okay, give
going
me
to
a second.
okay. You see, Baba is also doing the show. So this is what we're going through. The first thing that parents could do, as you see, every school, every teacher, every whatever have a different way of doing their remote learning. But for parents, the first thing that we had to do, or the best thing that we had to do, is find some kind of structure at home. I know it's challenging, but yeah, we had to find a way to structure the home. To structure, if you have, most parents have more than one kid. So that is even more challenging. And to see who is doing what. But if you have a basic structure for everyone, you will have an easier time to do what they had to do. For instance, I have a child, my son is 8 years old, he's in 8th grade. So, I mean, I'm lucky that he's the only one, so it's easier for me to structure. But let's say we wake up very early every day, okay? Recently, we've been waking up at, 8 o'clock? But most of the time, we wake up at 7. So 7, like we used to have our regular schedule, like is going to school. So when we wake up at 7, we had to have breakfast. So he knows 7:30, 8 o'clock, he's gonna have his breakfast and try to settle for school. So we have a school schedule. We're gonna start at 8 o'clock. Some teacher require that, okay, you could just get on at 9, at 10, whatever, we need your work to be done at the end of the day. So if you give that flexibility to the students, they're gonna take some time every day. They're gonna just inch in, and at the end of the day, they're not getting everything done. So if the student, most of the teacher will post their work for high school. We're gonna talk about high school and middle school students. They post their work by 12 o'clock. Everybody have their daily work posted already. Some of the students some of the teacher will record this video about the course. Some of them will not record any video. They will just post the work on Google Classroom. So if your child have a regular schedule, they wake up at 8 o'clock or 9, they start doing their work one by one. So if they have math, you do math first, you do this second, you do this second. By 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, they are done with the day. So if you don't want to overwhelm them, you could have some break in between where they do like 2 or 3 subjects and they are done, they're tired. You have a cabinet effort. That's you in the house, you can't get out, so you get tired very quick. But so what we're doing is I get tired too. I'm doing my work, my job too. I'm doing some remote learning too. I mean, teaching with some students. But what I do is by that time, either we have breakfast or we have some what I call game time. Like you could have a game time. If your child likes a certain game, that time will also allow you to connect with your child. You see, the family will connect together. You have, if you're used to that, you find something fun to do together. So when you do that, that will bring the pressure down a little bit. They have a little fun, and then they will go back to doing their work again. But at the end of the day, you will see that everything was done like smoothly and with, not too many hurdles in between. So
I'm not as strict when it comes to the time we start
right.
and the time we end. If he wants to do his homework during the afternoon, I have no problem with that. I would let him sleep whenever he wakes up. We have our routine, like you said, have breakfast together and then start the homework if he's ready. Sometimes he doesn't want to do it. So right. I let him play a little bit more and do it in the afternoon. But I see that when I let him play first and do the homework in the afternoon, he get it done quick like this.
Okay.
But when I wake up, and maybe it depends on the child too, but when I wake up and we do that, and after breakfast, I'm just like a military, like, oh, now it's time to do the homework and we have to do it now. I see that he's struggling more and it takes me more time to do it. Okay. So at the end, maybe, we have to adjust a few things also depending on the child, because mine is 4, so he's very young.
It doesn't depend on age. It depends on the child itself. Okay. Some child function better early on. Okay. Some of them don't function better when they wake up early. But most of the time, what I just want to say is structure. Okay? Yes, if the child is most effective in the afternoon, maybe you want to get them done in the time that they function, they had the highest potential. So, but you had to find that time and you had to know that time. So this is for maybe 30% of the students. Like more than 50% of kids and students, they will just drag on and inching in and inching in and inching in when you give them time. So yeah, you ask them, okay, just do it and when you're ready. So they're never gonna get ready. When the structure is set, the child is prepared. Is prepared for that time. Is ready for that time. So let's say you give him some incentive. Okay, we're gonna set up a schedule. You wake up, we have breakfast, and you're gonna do this. And after this, we have a playtime. After this, so he's looking forward for that playtime, right? So when you wake up and he's fresh and he's just he's not hungry, you have breakfast, you work. Okay, so it's okay. If you get your work done, then we have to have that playtime. That's for younger kids. You have to have some incentive, for them. So you get the work done, and we have playtime. So he's gonna look forward to having that playtime. So that's the kind of incentive that you're giving him. For older students, again, it's much harder if the child is not structured, because some parents, if you are home, some of the older kids, especially boys, they have video games, right? So they're gonna play
all day.
Right, they're gonna just play all day. But just try to have some structure there too. The video game time we have, like, it's kind of some incentive to him. So try to do the work. Once you finish your work, or
Then
you do some part of this work, you have maybe 1 hour video game time with your friend. Because again, kids staying at home, not having this type of thing is very hard.
yeah,
So connecting with a friend is also a good time, good moment. So you have to find that time where they connect with their friends. So a video game playing time will be some time that he has to connect with friends, but it's also some incentive that he had to get some work done before he could connect with his friend. In some part, they don't have the same schedule, so maybe some other child have also his incentive or a video game time. But if he has some regular friend where they play together, they need to find a time where they will connect together to have that time. So before that time, I don't know what the other person is doing on his side, but on every parent's side, you negotiate that with your child. I mean, I hate to say negotiate, but it's the right term. Work with your child, know what they could do, how they could function best, find some incentive time, and then you have some structure in place. See?
So when you talk about negotiating in the African culture,
right,
we don't know
right,
parents negotiating with children. It's like
right,
military. I tell
right,
you to do something, you do it.
right.
If you're happy or not, you do it.
You had to do it.
So I don't know how it's gonna work.
This is
Do you
the
have
this
some
is
advice or some?
yeah. Even when we use I used to have a kid come into the center and then we do stuff. Negotiation is we have to learn that. We don't have that culture where we tell you to do something, you do it. Maybe some of them had to be that, but we had to learn to talk to the kid. They listen. They could if you learn to do that, it's going to be very effective. The child is going to trust you better as long as they don't abuse that negotiation process, right? So a negotiation each person has some power, right? The parent has some power, the child also has some power. So you have to know where your power is, right? To have the upper end of the negotiation process. Yeah, when you have the upper end of the negotiation process, then you're going to win. But don't let the child have the upper end. We need to learn how to negotiate with our kids, but try to have the upper end. It's like your military power is with you, right? They're trying to have the upper end. When the child learns to trust you, you'll see that negotiation will always go well. Yeah.
And maybe we should set up a training for some of our parents to, including myself,
Right.
to be able to do that effectively, because it's not always easy. So now let's talk about expectations, because as parents, we tend to have high expectations with our children.
Right.
So what do we need to know, or what shouldn't we do while we in this new position?
I believe that we always need to have high expectation. I do. And I have a high expectation for all students that I work with, high expectations for my son, high expectation with people that we're working with. We need to set the higher expectation. We still need to set that. Once I was telling a parent, or I was talking to a student just before we close everything down. High expectation is very important, but if I tell the child, the student, put your 100% on the work, right? Go do your 100%. Doing 100% doesn't mean I want you to come with 100 in all subjects, right? Yeah, I could put 100% doing a work, then I could come out with a 7% result, right? So yeah, it happened to us also as adults. You work so hard to get something, but you don't get all you want. You get some of it. But as long as you work hard for it, you'll be satisfied with yourself. That I did my best, I worked very hard. I didn't get everything I want, but I made some progress along the way. And if you do that all the time, you will make progress to progress to progress, and ultimately you will get to closer to where you want to be. So set high expectation, but don't be discouraged because the child got some type of grade. If you see that they put in the work that they need to put in.
Sometimes we expect the school to do everything. What is our responsibility, even if, you know, the child spends a lot of time in school?
I went to like citizenship court once, and the person who taking giving the citizenship things to tell parents that were in the room and say, please don't let your child in this. She's the judge, okay, at immigration court, the judge, and she's the child of immigrant. And she said, I'm a judge today. My parents worked very hard for me to be here. Something that I'm gonna tell you, don't let your child in the hand of the system, right? So if your child goes to school day, we still have 100% responsibility to make sure that whatever is supposed to be done is being done, right? The child goes to school, come home, I had to make sure that they learn something that day. It's simple. You don't need to know everything that they did, but simple question. What did you do today? How was school? How was your interaction? How was the classroom run? And you could ask like simple question of what their day was that day. And that's what I always ask the student that come to a center. I ask them, how was your day today? How did you do in this classroom? In this subject? Do you think you're more confident? Do you think the teacher explained that very well? Or do you have some confused on some area where you don't understand? So the child will open up, right? You always want the child to open up on their experience at school, in order for you to know if you need to provide some additional help for them. If a child come home and you don't ask any question, or they come, oh no, I did my homework, you don't know, okay, that's fine, go. And you don't check, you need to have the system, you need to have a check and balance. Just check the child, check what the progress is. Don't wait till report card come out, right? Then sometimes it's a little too late. When the report card come out, that means they have spent 3 months or 1.5 months there. You don't know anything about it. And the child is already behind. So you're going to play catch up. You have to try to play catch up now because you don't know. So what you need to know is on a daily basis, try to see what the child does. If you can check it on a daily basis, at least every week, you need to know where the child stands. Is it on path? Is it on progress? Don't wait till the report card come out. Don't wait till you have a parent-teacher conference to try to stay in touch with the teacher. Try to get in touch with the teacher as often as you can. I'm not saying call the teacher every day because it's going to be too much for the teacher too, but as often as you can, try to call and try to verify whatever going on. But try also to establish a confidence level between your child and you, so they could effectively report to you their struggle. And then you also see, okay, as a parent, I need to provide help. Everything is not up to the school or the teacher. No, the parents have some responsibility too. If everything is not getting done in school, you have responsibility also to provide some additional support. There are a ton of support resources. So you have to provide that support for your child in order for them to succeed.
The last question will be for our parents who are illiterate. What kind of support do you think they will need to be able to help their children during this time?
It's very, very, very difficult. And I'm personally providing some support to those kind of parents. First, some of them are illiterate and they don't even know how the computer work. The child will sit there, I'm doing my work. Maybe they're watching YouTube, you don't know. And then you come down, I did my work. Sometimes you don't have any way to know if the child already submitted his work, if he didn't do it. So personally, we're providing some help. If parents need help, they could call us, right? They could call me. Now our office is closed by. You could get in contact with me I will work with them to see. First, we need to, everything had to come with the student report card currently, right? How they're doing, are they engaged in this remote learning? Yesterday, I spoke with some parents. What they told me is, so they don't think that the child is really engaged in that remote learning. They can't figure out, they don't know what they're doing, right? But you need to get in touch with somebody like me or the teacher, and so, is my child really engaged in school? Is he submitting his work? Is it participating? Because you don't know, even me, my son, he hasn't had the report card, the last report card, we don't have it. So but I'm lucky to have they're using PeoplePath. So I have the app installed on my phone, so I could check his grade every day. I could see if he submitted his work. Is he not submitting? Some teacher update grade very late, so sometimes the PeoplePath doesn't reflect the day on the grade on the real time. But you need to some way get in contact with a teacher, or if you can't speak the language, you get in contact with, in the community, we have a lot of, help. I could provide some of the help if you don't speak the language, to try to get in contact with some parents. I know some of the members of the community will be willing to help some of our parents to navigate this moment, get in contact with the school, the teacher, and see if their child is really doing the work that is supposed to do. Some types of that they can't do it on their own. So in this moment of time, this great difficult time, I think the community, for those who can do it, could lend their hands to parents who do not have the knowledge to do it, to be able to go together. Again, we are all in this together. We could assist. They could contact me. Maybe I know some other people. We could get together, and then we help those who can do it navigate this time, so we could get on the other end. All the community will be stronger.
I'm sure parents that are watching receive a lot of useful information. If you need help, connect with us at africainharlem.nyc. You can either send us a message or call us. We'll connect you with the resources that you need, including François Nzi. Maybe you want to leave your contact information?
Sure. My phone, I give my phone number to everyone. So they could call me, so 347-653-8043. They could also email me, for some who use email, right? You could email me at support, okay, at nymacs.org. Support at nymacs.org.